grab a drink, grab some food, and if you can migrate over here, that would be great. Yeah. So if everybody could come over, migrate over here and sit and grab a seat, that would be great. Thank you. If you need to grab a drink or some food, you can do that as well. started so everyone can take their seats, that would be great. If you have a cocktail or some food, if you're still grabbing some food, that's fine as well. Yep. Righty. It's a beautiful evening in Chicago. Not humid. Sun is shining. We are blessed, right? Hi, my name is DC Crenshaw. I am CEO of FET Media Group, publisher of FET Lifestyle Magazine, and co-owner of Little Diners Crew. And I want to welcome you all to the first Owning Your Legacy community event. And I want to thank BÍAN, Mar Saraparu. Is that correct? I just learned how to pronounce her name. So, Saraparu for allowing us to come in. This is a beautiful space. A round of applause for BÍAN for having us here. And so I'm really excited that you guys are here. And you know, this is just not a networking event. It's really about building community and magnifying impact together. And you know, Laurette has really created this really powerful platform to share powerful stories of leaders around the city, around the world. And a lot of those leaders are here tonight, and we have all those stories in here tonight. And so we have an esteemed panel here of guests that we're going to get some really cool insights from. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I had the pleasure of being on the podcast as well, but I also listened to a lot of you on the podcast and got some tips while I was working out. So really inspired me, so thanks to Red. But before we do that, I want to introduce the executive chefs for BÍAN and for Edlong. You know, this is, again, it's just not just a networking event, but we're bringing this thing full circle. And so Chef Ryan Meyer and Chef Charlie Baggs. Chef Ryan is with BÍAN, Chef Baggs is with Edlong, and they collaborate. They brought their community together to actually curate and create this tasting menu that you guys have today. So I'm going to allow them to talk about how they work together and the type of things that they kind of collaborate on to bring you guys these delicious dishes.
All right, we'll stay back here. I'm going to make Ryan feel really good. He hasn't done this before, so don't you think we should give him a little applause? Ryan, he really did all the magic in the kitchen. We had a conversation, and we were talking about, our theme was everything dairy can be. Very appropriate for this meeting. And what chefs are concerned about when they're cooking is to optimize the flavor and the eating experience of what they're creating. Nowadays, in a kitchen like this, chefs will have MSG. Commercial ingredients are starting to become really popular either in restaurants. Some of the products that we've showcased here from Edlong, you know, like a natural butter flavor, or we could do a brown butter flavor. Maybe we have a sauce that the manufacturing process, they can't brown the butter because they can't get temperature, but they want that flavor. Edlong can help you do that. You know, you can use these type of flavors to lower the cost by reducing the amount of butter or a higher cost item, and then add flavors to supplement it. And as I've been talking to Chef, I'm like, you know, you can go to Edlong and talk to the flavor chemists. You know, chefs are a little bit crazy. We think about molecules and little nuances of flavor. I said, working together, we can do anything. You know, we can really drive capability. So I do this as a consultant. I have worked with Edlong, and I'm always really proud to. Getting to know Ryan, and he told me what he was doing. He executed this perfectly. So I want to give him all the credit for that part. But Ryan, do you want to talk a little bit about just the menu and how you came up with some of the, maybe the top three that you chose?
Yeah, for sure. So here at BÍAN, we do a lot of network events such as this. The crude stage spread is really popular, so we can showcase really nice vegetables. We get fun dips and spreads. We have the tahini out there. Something that I got a sample of the feta, natural feta flavor. Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, so.
And then you can put that on roasted peanuts, you know, for a cocktail bar. So I think we're going to create a retail product.
Yeah, so like Chef was saying, we can both the flavor of the feta and the
once you, in my world, I work on a little larger scale because I work all over the world. I never know what I'm going to be trying to make until I study what the consumer is looking for. But with the technical tools that we have and the great chefs that really have mastered all the cooking techniques, like at Edlong, when their chefs work with their scientists, can really achieve very craveable foods at a price point that's important. But I know you have a great panel today. I'd love to learn what all of you and what you thought about every dish, but we don't have time for that. So I'm going to give you back the mic, and thank you for this opportunity, Laurette. And Ryan, thanks for doing all the hard work. Yeah.
So, thank you so much for being here, you guys. I really appreciate you all making time on a Thursday when school's starting, and I know there's a lot going on, and I honestly feel like there's so much wisdom in this room, and what I've learned from all of you is amazing. And the best is when you hear from a listener, I needed that today, I just heard that tonight, and that, you know, that really resonated and you inspired me, and I think you all have inspired so many. And the weird thing about these podcasts is you don't know who you're touching. You might run into somebody and they're like, I heard you, and I really enjoyed that. And to me, doing this is a give back. I mean, we're all giving back. When we give our time, we give our experience, our strength, our hope, whatever is needed at times. So really appreciate this community. And so we're going to talk a little bit about community and why that's so important, and how we can each lean on each other in different times, like when I need to send my kids cookies, or it's my son's birthday and I reach out to Jen Bell and say, I need a reservation. And I just met Bella, and she's gonna hook you up with someone because she's a matchmaker, so my son, you two might need to meet. So on that note, I would love to talk to the panel. I thank you guys so much for being a part of this. I love it. So let's talk about community, and I want to start with you, Margaret. And I want to hear a little bit about, you're a huge community builder from what you did in your past life and what you're doing now. So kind of talk about the strength of community and maybe even a little bit of the difference between the Executive Club and Tilia, like, you know, and the power of community.
So Laurette and I met literally through community. So when she joined the Executives Club of Chicago, where I was CEO, and I was also working part-time as an operating partner at the investment firm that I'm at. We invest in the food supply chain, and we are creating an innovation collaboratory, bringing leaders of Chicago's major food and ingredients manufacturers together to start developing community and working on shared challenges that the industry is facing that no single company can address on its own. It's going to require collaboration and innovation. So then I invited Laurette to join that, and now we're all mobbed up and all sorts of things. It's great. I also have a PhD in sociology. So community is at the heart of what I've been studying and passionate about from the very beginning. The data is very clear how much community matters. A lot is being coming out right now on loneliness and the importance of relationships. And so even someone who feels like maybe they don't have a big personal network, here's the really good news. Talking to strangers, they're now finding out, is very positively correlated with not only health and happiness, but longevity. And those studies are getting released. So just talk to your
That's so
local
funny,
barista.
because my
I
kids
know.
are always like, Mom, I literally just took Gavin's dog to the dog park in my break this afternoon and met a young man, 31, named Jake P. He lives across the street from our condo, and his condo has a pool and ours doesn't. I got his phone number. We got a pool date.
There you go. Bring everybody. My kids think I'm so annoying too. They're like, Mom, you're so annoying. You always talk to strangers. And so I sent my husband the study a week ago, and I said, the data are clear. So there you go.
I love that. And kind of on that note, anyone can join in on this, but I was just saying that to Denise and Gail. We were chatting, getting ready, and I've heard a lot. David Brooks is one I remember hearing from, and some other people about the studies on different countries, and that we as you know, the US ranks pretty low, where Denmark is way up there, Finland's way up there, and they have been. So what do you guys, or anyone wants to chime in on that, or feel like, what's the basis of that?
I mean, we just launched into 35 Marianos, and I have to constantly talk to customers to woo them into getting cookies. But I mean, I'm always talking to a lot of people. I think in May I posted on LinkedIn that I went to 17 networking events and 8 panels, and I was a judge on a pitch. But I mean, I'm always networking, community building. You know, I have also, my name is Teresa, I own Sugar Bliss, and you know, we launched our cookies. We've been around for 18 years as a bakery, and then, you know, launched our cookies into retailers. And one of the things that I wanted to do was build up the women and minority community. And so every time someone buys a cookie, it goes back, we have a scholarship. So community building and building up that community has always been very important to me. And kind of like being on Laurette's podcast, although, you know, I feel honored because it really allowed me to feel like, what is my legacy when I want to leave my business? So I really appreciate being on that podcast too. So.
Hello, everybody. My name is Stuart Carroll. Well, hello. I have a voice finally.
And a great accent.
Yeah, thank you very much. Maybe that's the only reason I got on stage tonight. I think we asked a question about different places and, you know, living here or lived abroad. And I think one of the things it's like we have to do a little bit more work here to get to know people and to you know, have those conversations. We don't have as many third places here as you would in other countries. I did meet you in a bar though.
That is true.
Yeah, that's true. Quite late at night with someone we were both a buyer from Starbucks who were both selling to, and they introduced us at
That's
a
how
bar.
business is done, it's relationships.
Yeah, and you know, we hit it off, and here we are 15 years later or whatever. Yeah,
Don't
so,
even say that.
yeah, so I do think it's something that's, I don't think I could have been doing what I'm doing today if I didn't make that effort. Right? And I've always found my wife was much better at talking to people naturally. So she would just walk up to people, chat to people in line.
She's gonna live a long time.
Glad I've got that insurance there. So she's got that ability that's more just like a sort of natural tone. I think I had to work harder at it. Had to try harder. But I think if you do practice it and you do put yourself out there, it normally comes back to you in really good ways.
And I think you coming from a different country, I think that's really an interesting aspect of, you know, just being able to go down to the local pub and find community in the pub. We don't have that. We have suburbs where you have to drive everywhere. You can't just walk. Even if we were just in Italy, as you all know, because I posted all about it in the promo. But I was saying to John, I was like, just seeing particularly a group of men hanging out in the cafe, drinking coffee, there's community and unity in that. And you know those guys probably meet every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. and that's their connection. And I think that we are lacking that in this country more than other countries.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, our work is our community. So I think if you treat your work as such, it can be a lot more rewarding. So if you look at all those relationships and time that you're putting into things, is not just transactional and much more based on, you know, you're not necessarily going to get something back for it. You're doing it for the sake of it, not for a return. And I think that's when it becomes richer.
Yeah, we have a thing at work where we're trying to have some fun. Not too much fun, like just have some fun. There's a limit on it, there's guardrails. But yeah, I mean, I think that is all around community, and it's really, and I remember that I've been at Edlong 32 years almost now, and there used to be golfing well, yeah, there was golf, but there was more bowling, there was softball, there was, and I was a youngin', and we used to do that stuff more, and I think that was great, and it's kind of hard to get that going again, and I'm sure COVID took a toll on some of that.
I think that's why you doing this is so important, because we have fewer opportunities to do this naturally, because society has changed and technology has changed. The fact that you have created a community and invited people in, Bella and I, after this, are leaving to go to something with a friend of ours who's so inspirational. She decided to create her kitchen table. And so she just said, who are the people in my life that are my kitchen table? And I'm just gonna start planning a dinner, and hopefully they'll come, and we all come now. And so you have opportunities to do this in your daily life. If you're not someone that wants to walk into a big crowd, just invite 6 of your favorite people to dinner and get them to know each other, and then it all sort of snowballs from there. So thank you for doing this and being a model for everyone.
I love that you said I invite people and I hope they come, so I'm glad you all came. And I love we're live streaming, this is the first. This is so, well, maybe there's other parts.
Good to know. Information.
I don't even know what camera that is, it might be that one, but there was a lot of people that have been on the podcast that are not from Chicago, so I thought that would be kind of fun, but yeah. So I guess a good question, and the many that I have in my hand, is building collective impact. Many of us in this room are leading in very different spaces. What threads do you see tying our work together? If we joined forces, what's one big problem we could solve? Big one.
So when I wrote this one down, I thought, well, there's a good news for this one, and there's a bad news. Right? The good news is I had the idea about 12 years ago, so it's matured well. The bad news is I haven't done anything about it. Right? So maybe it's about time. The idea is pretty much around the very general base of urban farming, and we're getting disadvantaged youth primarily into urban farming, and I think it will fix a lot of things, but there's 3 big things in total. Well, let's say not fix, because there's no necessary big fixes in life, but it would help 3 things. One is just from a very pragmatic standpoint, restaurants, are very heavily urban based. The supply chain is further away from them. If you could actually get product to them faster, and let's say in a more curated way, so chefs can say, hey, this is what I want, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I would like to have on my menu, and you could curate it for them on their back door or very close. I think that would be a great thing. I also think that there's lots of spaces, particularly in Chicago, because the way it was built. There's lots of open spaces and derelict spaces, so that there's opportunity to turn those into beautiful spaces that are also safe and guarded and well managed. And then the third thing is the most important thing, is that there's a lot of people who never get their hands in the soil, who don't know the connection with the earth, and I think that would solve a lot of their problems.
That's very good. Wow. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
Sorry. And I swear I did not get paid for this, but as founders and a lot of emerging brands, like the #1 thing is if you don't have an investor, we need access. And BMO. So I swear I did not get, and I didn't even know she was going to be here. So anyway, so like there are banks, including BMO, that have like a 0 barriers to business that help founders. Say $50,000. You don't understand how much $50,000 can just help elevate that brand just to get started. And so it's great that there are community banks out there that can help founders there. The other thing is that when I first started my business, I just was like, I'm a small business owning a bakery, like opening a bakery. I'm not even woman and minority owned. Like that was not a thing until maybe the last 10 years. We didn't even get certified until 2017. And I've been working with the Women's Business Development Center just to like understand how to open a business, but not getting certified. And I always thought, exactly. And I didn't know that certification, I thought certification was for government contracts. And I was like, I don't want to do government contracts. When will I get paid? You know? So anyways, that's another discussion. So, but you know, once I got certified as a woman and minority owned, because there's two different certifications, it opened doors. And the funny thing is like, I know I'm not going to try to go into political climate, but the thing is that, you know, corporations that have DEI, supplier diversity, it is not just, look at the, you know, I mean, I'm looking at like these major corporations that have decided not to do that, and their consumers are, you know,
Not
diverse
happy.
owned,
They're
and
not
not
happy.
happy. And if you looked at the press release, there was a major CEO that just resigned because their sales declined and DEI backlash. And so, you know, we've had so many great opportunities. Like we just launched last year, we pitched to Roundy's. I did a Shark Tank format with Roundy's, which owns Mariano's. And, you know, again, who knows if we got it or not. And I pitched and we got it. And, you know, it took about a year for us to launch there, but ultimately it's my team to make sure that we sell those cookies. It has nothing to do with women and minority. It's like my team. And so yesterday we had our first demo at 3030 North Broadway. We sold out 75%. And it was just because we have a good cookie, which I love out there. But, so I think that, you know, we need more corporations to support, you know, diverse-owned, women-owned businesses. Because if you look at it, it's not just, it's your consumers. It's the people that are in your workforce that bring innovation too. So that's my 2
I
cents.
love that, and then my only add to that is, so we've had Cargill and Walmart on the podcast, so, you know, and,
Yeah.
and
And Cargill's wonderful.
amazing,
Yeah, we use their
amazing,
chocolate.
and they will all advise us on, you're never gonna win because of diversity, and we know that.
Yeah.
It's a door opener, that's it, and that's all we can do, and then your team has to come behind you and prove it, and we love that, so thank you for that. Okay, navigating challenges together, how has community helped you through a challenge, setback, or major transition? Share something personal, moments of resilience, make us cry. All right, who cried on the podcast? I think that was. I cry almost every time.
I'm not gonna make you cry,
Okay.
but, one of the keys to staying sane is have your sphere of concern be equal to your sphere of influence, right? And I think right now, many people are
That's
very.
deep, you gotta say that again.
Have your sphere of concern be equal to your sphere of influence. So a lot of us right now are wrapping ourselves in knots over things over which we have no influence. So we're all sitting here thinking like, what can I do? I don't know what to do. I'm so frustrated, and that's why, you know, mental health
It's
is
the
really
serenity
good.
prayer.
Yes. It's all sorts of versions of that. So, but putting it that way has got me really clear. What can I influence? I can influence my community, the world around me. I can lean into my neighborhood. I can lean into my school or my church or my work or whatever it is. And that's where you can actually see direct impact. And that's going to make you have better mental health, feel more empowered, feel a little bit more control over what's going on in your life. And so I would encourage everyone to pick one thing in your community. Maybe you go get groceries for an elderly neighbor. Maybe you tutor some kid in math. Maybe you just volunteer at the school. Like something that is directly in the community that you impact. And it's just going to lift you in so many ways. Now, maybe some of you have a big sphere of influence on the national stage, and God bless, please go change the world. I don't. So I have to, go local.
Trust me. Do you guys have anything on that, and when you had to lean on your community?
Yeah, so, I started my business in 2007, and, we're corporate catering downtown, chugging along, and then COVID hit, and nobody said, hey, stop buying stuff, or COVID's gonna completely eliminate your business, and everyone's working from home. So literally my business went from 15 employees to 1 employee, which is me. And so I literally was, all my staff was, on furloughed, and, they were fine. And I'm back to square one, do I zest the lemons and squeeze the lemon juice, or what do we do? Like, she's like, oh God. I'm like,
Can you imagine if I had to make flavors? Like, that would be a really scary day.
So I literally had to become front of the house, back of the house, dishwasher, everything, shipper, everything. So, I mean, again, like, had COVID not happened, we would not be where, like, we literally went like this, and then boom, and then, COVID happened. I was like, okay, how am I going to revive our business, or survive, And so we had a major airline call us and was like, we know your brand. Do you have anything shelf stable? And I was like, no. I should have called you and said, how do I make it? But I was like, I know, we met later on, and I was like, okay, how do I make something in my bakery shelf stable? And so we took our 3 cookies, made them shelf stable, ended up launching Walgreens. Then we launched Compass Group, which is food service. They introduced it to Levy. Now we do things with Bears. So like, we took a very challenging moment where I'm like, I'm making macaroons, which I don't usually do, into now like we're a nationwide brand and stuff. So, I mean, I would say like, as entrepreneurs, we just have to look at the darkest moments to be like, how do we pivot? You know what I mean? Like, we just have to figure out how to like survive. So, and also like, I would probably have never thought about how to take my brand to another level by giving back as much. I was like, my business has been now around 18 years, but at that market was like 15. And I said, well, what I want to do when I leave my, what's the legacy I want for Sugar Bliss? And so that got me thinking, how to give back with our cookies. So unfortunately, I took COVID and changed it to, take that challenging moment and elevate it. So.
I love that. And Sean, you were just saying the other day to me, it made me think of entrepreneurs. You say they think we take risks, or but we really don't. We're like the people that look at every risk and we analyze it, and then we determine the best route forward. I thought that's so true. Everybody has.
I love that story, by the way. I think one of the things that highlights is that when you're actually down, that doesn't mean that you're really done, right? Unless it's fatal, you've got a path forward, and you actually turn your path forward.
You probably thought it was fatal.
Yeah, I'm sure you maybe moments in the dark hours you did. And I've been through those scenarios before, and where you think this is it. Nothing's going to work here. We're now in a scenario where you put too much, you let too much in, and there's no going back. But one of the things, I think there's an entrepreneurial spirit that will get you through it to a certain degree, but more it's going back to the community, right? So there are people who definitely came to my aid. But I would say there's 3 different ways, right? There's people who can come from an area of sort of emotional support and wisdom. There's people who can come with technical capability and understanding of, hey, have you looked at it like this? And then there's actual resources and assets that people can support you with. So I think that one of the things when you are back in that scenario where you can actually help other people, when you can put when you're not necessarily putting your own mask on, you can lean over and put the mask on somebody else, is to look for the people who actually do need it. And sometimes it's easy to walk past the person who is really in a challenge, because normally those people can be annoying to be around. They can be very frustrated, they can be challenged, they can be emotional, and sometimes I'm not saying everyone needs to take on a big project with a person, but I've had a couple of cases in recent years where I've lent into a couple of people and been one of the people that's helped them turn things around. And both from a career aspect as well as from an entrepreneurial aspect. And I didn't enjoy most of it to begin with. I don't think most of it to begin with was appreciated, but then when they start seeing the benefits of it, it can really work. And the only reason I would have done that and went through it is because someone did it for me.
That's so true. When you were talking about COVID, I know I've told this story a million times, but it always reminds me back to community, and it's a Chicago thing, it's a food industry thing, but we were all scared to death, it was like a horrible time. And there's a handful of flavor companies in Chicago, and I loved that Lloyd, our chief operating officer, like there was a group of, I'm sure Carrie was involved in this, and Belle, and Fona, and it was like, we got your back. Like, it gives me chills every time I think about that. So we're competitors, and if your guys get sick, we got your back. If you need help manufacturing, like, who does that? Like, I just think that's beautiful, and that's community, like, to be able to do that. And I think we're in the best city ever. The Midwest, maybe generally.
You know, Eric, the founder of my firm, he's always said that the food industry is naturally collaborative. I mean, what it takes to get something from where it's grown onto your plate right now, I mean, it's unbelievable the amount of coordination and collaboration that has to happen.
The nicest people, I swear to God, they really are. Okay. All right, before I get to this last one, we got 2 more to say. I'm watching my clock, right? So, describe, but describe like when you are put in a community, which could be family, it could be work, it could be wherever, where you're like, I don't fit in that community, or I'm gonna leave. Like, what are the attributes of a community where you're like, not for me?
I'm much better at that now. I was not great at that for probably the first 40 years of my life. Now I just simply don't have time. Like, that's it. So time, scarcity has become the great chooser for me. Like, I spent a lot of time at stuff I did not want to, but I had time. Like, you know, and now I am so picky. Yes.
I love the word
You're really lucky I'm here.
I feel so lucky you're here.
No, so just say no. Someone else wise said to me, when you say no to something, you're just saying no to that one thing. When you say yes to something, you are now saying no to a whole bunch of other things. So if it's not worth your time, do not go, because that is just taking away energy and time and resources that you do not have. And it's fine. And I've stopped saying things like, I don't like that person. I've really tried to take that out of my vocabulary. My new language is, we're not a match. We're not a fit. You know, like, we're not a good match.
Our values don't lie.
Even that can be kind of judgy, right? So it's like, we're just not a match. And that's it.
So I had that experience with
Swipe right.
yeah, I had
Every
that
night.
experience with a retailer. I was like, we're just not a match, you know. So Laura knows this. You know, as a CPG founder, you're just like, yes, every retailer, we want to be in it. I don't care if I'm giving you free product and advertising and, you know, promotions and slotting fees or whatever. I'm like, and I'm making $0 or -$, but yeah, that's the retail game. So back in fall, I had a retailer, a major retailer, and, you know, they accepted us, and, you know, it was the holidays, and we got bombarded with our catering business, and then come January, they're like, hey, you know, are you gonna do the onboarding documents? Like, yeah, I'm going to. And, you know, and I just, like, something just made me not do it. And, you know, their values, I realized their values did not align with my values. Like, they were pulling back on DEI, supplier diversity, and I was like, you know, my company's going this way, you're going that way. And then I thought about, like, their consumer base. I'm like, their consumer base is not gonna buy. I mean, you know, I was like, this is not gonna work out. And so I sent an email to them and I said, you know, I appreciate the opportunity, unfortunately, because, well, I actually didn't even, I just said, unfortunately, we're not going to onboard. And then they asked me why, and I was like, okay, I guess I'll tell them why. And I said, you know, your company values don't align with my company values, and, you know, I just, you know, if it changes in the future, please feel free to reach out. I mean, obviously there was no response, but I realized
It might be soon.
yeah, and I was just like, at first I was like, man, I don't know, did I kick myself? But again, you know, not every opportunity is the best opportunity. And so, yeah, I mean, I posted on LinkedIn, I was like, I'm gonna have to stand firm on my values in my company. And, you know, again, you know, I want my company, I'm a woman, I'm a minority, I wanna help that next generation. And I want to make sure where we're placing our products also believes in my values.
So in terms of, I think what you were saying there is that not getting involved with people over long periods of time who aren't going to, let's say you're just not a mix with, the energy isn't right, the values aren't right. I think their end goal is most likely going to be different from your end goal. There's a few things I'd say about that. One, quit early, because your natural thing is, like, I'm a little bit of a pleaser, so I like to get in there, make people happy, and I'm always thinking, well, what's that? Maybe there's more to it. As I've got older, I've learned to quit much earlier. So I think that's one thing. And then the other is, it's a practice. It's not something that's you just, I think you should just always go with your gut. I think you should really challenge yourselves in the scenarios and say, like, why am I doing something? Like, so why am I first engaging with them? And that's really important, right? So why am I doing it? And if you know why you're doing it, then it's easier to know why you shouldn't, right? So I think that's a big element. And then it's just, don't get talked into things by pushy people. There's just a lot of pushy people around.
I love that. I think also we have this saying in Edlong of authentic belonging, which really came from my kids and I doing a values horrible thing that Sean made us do, and we had to go from 100 cards of values down to 1, and then I stole my son's next to me that said authentic because I love belonging, and I was like, that's it. But I think the community that I want to be a part of is one where I can be myself, whether it's work, whether it's my friends, but it's like I've definitely been on the other side of that where you find yourself becoming invisible or not, being who you truly are, and I think it applies to work too. It's like you want people that really can be themselves and shine, so those are all good. Okay.
Ella calls them your elevator friends, the ones that lift you up.
Yes. The ones that lift you up, absolutely. And they're not jealous, and they're not envious, and you're happy for them too. Yes, I love that. That's a beautiful thought. All right, last question. Rounding up here. Call to action. If everyone here could give you one thing to move your mission forward, and all y'all should be thinking about this because you're going to be talking about it in about 2 minutes. Give you one thing to move your mission forward, what would it be? What's one way you could support someone else in this room? Be specific. Resources, introductions, collaborations, visibility, opportunities. So what is one thing that would help move your mission forward? Go ahead.
Okay, so we just launched Mariano's yesterday, 35 Mariano's. We have to prove to them in 6 weeks that we can sell our cookies. We're literally on Monday and Tuesday.
We're all going to Mariano's?
Yeah, I'll go to Mariano's. So I went to 32 Mariano's from, I didn't even know what suburb I was in. I went from Gurney Mills to Hoffman Estates, Arlington Heights, Park Ridge. I literally went everywhere to make, and I, as a CEO, I probably shouldn't be doing this, but again, I went in the back side, I like stormed through the double doors, where you're not supposed to go, and I was like, where's my shipper? Found it behind Hostess. I was like, okay, no, we're coming out. Unraveled it, put it out. So we are definitely.
As a CEO, you're exactly supposed to do
I know, exactly. But now I appreciate it, any merchandisers out there. So anyways, but you got to get it done because you have literally, I was talking to Karina, you literally have X amount of time to prove to Kroger that your cookies are valued. So yes, obviously it's great for my brand, but the cookies do help. So we've given out 35 scholarships for more women to get certified. So I would say that is my call to action. Go buy those cookies in Gurney, Lake Zurich, Park Ridge. I know a lot of you guys live in this. Yeah.
And then you just gotta text her. I've been to 6 Mariano's.
Yes, and we will pay you back for your calories. Great one.
I want a little bit of extra time there to get more specific, to say, is there something that you could really help me with? But in general, so for the past 8 years, I've had a company called Vending Collective, where we develop and create innovation for beverage. So we create a lot of the products that you see in the shelves today. We do about 40 plus products a year that actually launch and go into the marketplace. Some of those are food service items that you wouldn't see on the shelves, but a lot of them are alcohol products. but all in the beverage space. For the past 5 years, I've had this idea that we're only literally launching in LA 2 weeks from now, and we're launching in Chicagoland in 2 months from now. And it's an alcohol beverage that makes you feel a whole lot better, and it's not just the alcohol. So it's an alcohol beverage specifically oriented around social sports. So it's got herbal mate in it, it's got electrolytes in it, it's got juices that have got full of polyphenols and all the sort of minerals and stuff that you need. So it makes you, it sort of enhances you as you go forward. It's got a little bit of natural caffeine, but it's not massive amount of caffeine, but enough to keep you going. It helps me with my golf game. It helps me when, it helps me on a Friday night when I'm just tired and zonked and, want to take a drink. I came up with the idea when I was on a boat, and a bunch of guys had 3 Miller Lights or whatever each, and nobody wanted to catch any fish. So that we said, okay, let's develop something that goes forward. So that's getting launched in Chicagoland. It's called Chi-Chi. So
Wait, what?
if you
Chi-Chi?
Chi-Chi.
Like
C-H-E, one word.
Okay.
Chi-Chi. And the name was actually a working name that turned into the real name. And so if you see it, please buy it, and I think you get a really good deal out of it because you're going to feel good.
Love it. Right.
Last but not least, what would really help me is for everyone to be a little bit happier and a little less stressed out. Like, angry people in traffic are really messing up my day. Like, just a lot of angry people are really messing with my life. So I would say, try to create some community and lift some people up. So that would be my call to action, is pick maybe 5 or 6 people that you really, really enjoy who do not know each other, and go to coffee together or invite them over for dinner or do something, because then they're going to make a connection, and then they're going to make a connection, and then they're going to make a connection, and we know connection makes you happier and less angry in traffic, so that can really help.
Okay, that was like the best ending, because like that's what this is all about. And as you were saying that, I'm looking at Jess, and she wrote the book called Soul Salary, and I don't know if you guys saw that episode, but you certainly should. And it's around joy, and I think that was just perfect. And like, I think all you just knowing your brilliance would make me, that's what I want. I want all you guys to just know each other's brilliance, and that'll make me happy. So on that, DC, we can hand it over to you.
All right. Awesome. Give it up for our esteemed moderator and our panel guest. Awesome. I mean, I love, as an entrepreneur, sometimes it can be a lonely type of gig, right? Because I don't necessarily interact with folks on a daily basis. So it's always good to hear folks and what they're doing, and pearls and tips and things like that, and connect. And so what we're going to do next is connect. On your table are a list of owning your legacy questions. And these questions are meant for us to actually connect and kind of get to know each other a little bit at the tables. So what I'm going to do, I want you guys, someone from each table, hold up a question. Just hold it up, all righty? And then I'm going to give you the mic, and you're going to read it, and then everyone at your table and around are going to have a discussion, and then I'll come back in 5 minutes and we'll do the next question. All right. So we're going to start here. What's your name? Adrian, read your question.
Okay. Your legacy in action. What's one project, initiative, or cause that you're most excited about right now, and why does it matter to you?
All right. So you guys at your table, you're going to have that discussion for about 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and then we'll do the next question. All right. So go right in.